The Los Angeles Dodgers were 3 away from winning the National League West for the 4th consecutive year. On this day, their fate was entrusted to one man, Shohei Ohtani, wearing number 17. This was his 2,100th Major League game on the mound. It was also an extremely important game, as it was his final regular season appearance since returning from right elbow surgery last September. Will he be making final adjustments for the postseason, or will he be giving it his all to secure the division title? Manager Dave Norberts gave a guideline before the game. If things go well, he would like Ohtani to pitch the entire 6th inning. For Ohtani, whose longest pitching time has been 5 innings, this was a sign of his manager's strong trust, signifying that his rehabilitation phase is over and he has entered true playoff mode. As a pitcher, Ohtani is currently leading the home run race with 53 home runs and is the leading candidate for the National League MVP. As a pitcher, he has been improving his condition at an astonishing pace since his surprise return in June. What will Shohei Ohtani prove to the world on the mound today? It is not just his lifetime. It was a testament to the man's unyielding spirit as he overcame the adversity of injury and continued on the path of the never-before-seen, Nissan Nisoryu. And it was the beginning of a wicked performance that would impress even the legends whose names are engraved in the old samurai. Just 8 minutes before the opening ball, Ohtani was making final adjustments in the bullpen in right field. His concentration was honed. He poured his soul into the first class, and checked the feeling of the air. Instead of heading to the mound as a batting average, he first stood in the batter's box as the designated hitter, the first to strike out the Dodgers' offensive leader. The Diamondbacks' starting pitcher was the young all-star Brand Fath, who boasts 13 wins this season. He let the first pitch, a slider on the outside corner, pass him. He hung in there, fouling off the second and third pitches, but on the 5th pitch, a 148 km/h cut ball that cut deep into the center, his bat was connected to, and the ball rolled weakly to second base. Around second base, Ohtani got off to a quiet start as a batter. But the real prize begins here. Returning to the dugout, Ohtani immediately picked up his glove and calmly stepped onto the mound. This was his 2,100th appearance in the major leagues. On that memorable mound, he shocked the world from the very first inning. In the bottom of the first inning, the Diamondbacks were on offense. The first pitch thrown by Ohtani, Gerardo Perdomo, was a 98.7 miles per hour, approximately 158.8 kilometers per hour, 4-seam strike to the outside corner. The ball was a predictable 9th-place finish, an overwhelming performance that was hard to believe was coming off a rehabilitation appearance. The second pitch was a 94.2 miles per hour, approximately 151.6 kilometers per hour, cutter that completely destroyed the cabinet. Perdomo's bat snapped in two with a high-pitched sound. The ball was a weak fly ball to right field, and with one out, the power and sharpness of the bat shattered, and Shohei Ohtani opened the curtain on the award in the best possible way. The next batter, Ketel Marte, a powerful hitter from the Dominican Republic, was also helpless against Ohtani. The third pitch thrown with a count of 1. Marte's bat, famous for his 97.9 meters, 157.6 kilometers inside pitch, was completely overwhelmed, and he took 2 outs with just a few pitches to a weak second baseman. And then came third batter Carroll. Last year's National League Rookie of the Year, and this season he is a young star who is leading the team. This was one of the most anticipated matchups of the day. Ohtani stepped up his game against Carroll. His first pitch was an outside pitch of 99.1 meters, and his second pitch was his fastest of the day, clocking in at 99.5 meters and 160.1 kilometers. He cornered him with a fiery fastball and ended with a change of pitch. With the count at 2, the fifth pitch was a sharply curving, 79.8 meters, 128.4 kilometers curveball, and Carroll's bat didn't budge at all. He struck out 3 batters looking and struck out just 11 times in the first inning, showing a perfect start. Commentators in Japan and the US couldn't hide their excitement at this pitching. Aki Inoue, an MLB commentator who works for J Sports, declared, It looks like it's going to be incredible pitching. There's absolutely nothing to worry about. Quote. True to his word, Ohtani stepped into hair-raising territory that day. After a perfect start, Ohtani was supported by his reliable teammates with their bats. In the top of the second inning, the battle of the inning was against Teoscar Hernan, the fifth batter. It was the fifth pitch thrown by opposing starter Fat. He caught the slider that floated high perfectly. The ball drew a beautiful parabolic trajectory and went into the left center stand. His 25th solo home run, the first of the inning, gave the Jerseys a 1-point lead, providing valuable support for Ohtani. And with that support in the bottom of the inning, Ohtani's pitching became even more impressive. In the bottom of the second inning, Ohtani struck out the first batter, number 4 Gabriel Moreno, with a full count and a splitter that sank low and outside. The next batter, number 5 Eugenio Suarez, also struck out swinging with a charged sweeper to the head. It was a 3-strikeout streak that included the previous inning. Number 6 Jace Peterson was struck out around second base, and in this inning he struck out 3 batters perfectly. After 2 innings, he had pitched perfectly, not allowing a single run. 4 of the 6 outs were strikeouts. His overwhelming pitching silenced even the fans in the opposing team. On the local broadcast of the Diamondbacks, play-by-play commentator Steve Deltiome said with otherworldly emotion, "He's like a god who descended from Mount Olympus in baseball. He hit 53 home runs and threw a 100 mph fastball. It's unbelievable." Even the broadcasters of rival teams had to give him the biggest 30 seconds of the game. The aura that Ohtani exuded that day was extraordinary. In the top of the third inning, Ohtani's second at-bat hit the first pitch and was out on a fly ball to third base. And then the fateful bottom of the third inning arrived. Ohtani, who had been pitching perfectly up until that point, was hit with the biggest accident of the game. The first batter in the inning was number 7 Alex Thomas. Count 1, the third pitch from 1. Thomas made perfect contact with a 4-seam fastball thrown by Ohtani high and center. The incredibly fast liner, with a speed of 105.8 miles per hour, about 170.2 kilometers per hour, struck Ohtani on the pitcher's mound in a straight line. With a dull bang, the ball struck the mound near the mound of Ohtani's glove in his left hand. The impact caused Ohtani to pull the ball back, and he lost track of the ball for a moment. He looked around, hurriedly picked up the ball that had rolled to his feet, and ran to first base. However, his desperate efforts were too late and the ball stopped. Thomas allowed his first hit of the day. It was the first hit in 14 days since the game against Baltimore on September 5. Given Ohtani's unrivaled performance, that hit was shocking. However, the stadium was not worried about the hit. It was about the condition of his left hand, which had been hit directly by that 170 km per hour ball. Immediately after the ball hit the mound, Dodgers manager DeBoost and trainers rushed to the mound from the Dodgers bench. The crowd at Chase Field watched with bated breath, and the commentary booth for the TV broadcast froze. Local California station Sportsnet Los Angeles reported that Joe Davis couldn't help but shout, "Everyone is holding their breath." Where did it hit? The forearm of the hand that holds the glove, which is an important part of a hitter. Everyone thought the worst. But the number 17 on the mound remained calm. Ohtani waved with a smile to the manager and trainers who rushed over, indicating that he was fine. He chose to stay on the mound without seeking treatment. There was no sign of anxiety on his face. Rather, it was as if the accident had ignited the urge to escape within him. Anyone who had seen him in action would have been shocked. But this was where Shohei Ohtani really began. He overcomes this adversity with his own strength, and in the most vicious way. Next up is Carson Kelly, batting 8th. Ohtani pours his inner rage into the ball. He attacks the inside corner with a fastball approaching 100 miles per hour from the very first pitch. Kelly is completely cornered, and after being cornered, his bat whiffs on a splitter. He strikes out swinging. Number 9 is Jake McCarthy. Ohtani's momentum doesn't stop against him either. He combines a powerful fastball with a sharply curving sweeper. McCarthy is unable to swing at the bat, and he strikes out swinging. The batting order returns to the top, and Perdomo, batting first, is also a hitter whose bat was broken in the first inning. Ohtani makes no compromises here either. The last pitch is a perfectly controlled sweeper pitch low and outside. Perdomo's bat once again comes up empty. 3 consecutive strikeouts from Akuka. After the accident of being hit by a 170 km/h ball, it's as if nothing happened. Or rather, he used it as fuel to completely suppress the Imperial family. This pitching demonstrated his mental strength that went beyond mere technique, and his dignity as a champion. Shohei Ohtani, who had overcome his ordeal and was surrounded by applause, had become a great presence on the mound, and this incredible performance by Shohei Ohtani was something special not only in the eyes of modern fans and the media, but also in the eyes of legendary players who once reigned at the top of Major League Baseball. How will they analyze this historic figure from their own professional perspectives? The first to speak was Alex Rodriguez, one of the greatest switch hitters who supported the Yankees during their golden era. He focused on Ohtani's mental strength and business value. Today's pitching, especially the 3 consecutive strikeouts after that hit, that was the essence of Shohei Ohtani. Many players get upset at that moment and lose their rhythm. They call in a trainer, waste time, and end up dragging out a bad streak. But he was different. He turned that incident into fuel to take himself to even greater heights. That smile. It was both a sign that he was okay and a warning to anyone who was upset. Today's top athletes love adversity. He's the epitome of that. And let's not forget the financial impact he has. He's not just a baseball player. He's a huge industry. The contract the Jerseys signed him to may seem astronomical at first glance, but it's actually a steal when you consider the amount of TV rights, merchandise revenue, attendance, and brand value he brings. He's doing something that no one has done since Babe Ruth, single-handedly elevating the value of the sport of baseball itself. This isn't just another game. It's a showcase for fans all over the world. Next up is Derek Jeter, a 5-time World Series champion known for his captaincy and his entire career with the Yankees. He analyzes Ohtani from a winner's perspective. What I find most interesting about him when I watch him play is his composure. With the season approaching and the division title on the line, this first game is on the line. Moreover, he doesn't seem to feel any pressure at all in important appearances since his return. In fact, he seems to be enjoying the situation. That's the life of a champion. The great players I've seen during my playing days, like Mariano Rivera and Andy Pettitte, know that the more important the situation, the better their performance. Ohtani is a player who embodies that. He always understands what he needs to do not only for himself but also for the team to win. That's the case with his pitching today. He was willing to risk his life to protect the 1 run that Leoscar Hernandez scored on a home run. That attitude resonates throughout the team and creates a sense of determination to win. The Dodgers didn't acquire him just because of his performance. They acquired him to infuse the team with his winning DNA. As long as he's around, the Dodgers will always be a World Series contender. David Ortiz, the greatest clutch hitter of all time, known for his chemistry with Big Papi, speaks passionately about the difficulties of being a two-way player, especially from a hitter's perspective. It's crazy. It's really unbelievable. It's not normal for a normal person to throw a 100 mph pitch as a brother pitcher and then hit another 100 mph pitch in the batter's box a few minutes later. I've faced some of the best pitchers in my career, and I know how focused they are and how much they value their routine. On the day they pitch, all they think about is pitching from the morning. That's normal. But Shohei is different. Right after throwing in the bullpen, he goes to the plate thinking, okay, now it's my turn to score the first run. How does he switch his mindset? Pitching mechanics and batting mechanics are completely different. I can't imagine being able to do both at the highest level on the same day. He hasn't hit a home run yet, but the pressure he puts on the opposing battery is immeasurable. Just having him at bat makes the opposition constantly wary of long hits and cautious about where they're pitching. That pressure can sometimes lead to other batters throwing easy pitches. He's in the lineup. He's on the mound. Those two facts alone give the Dodgers a huge advantage. And Barry Bonds, the most feared hitter in Major League history, analyzes Ohtani with his outstanding hitting theory. His swing is a wonderful blend of beauty and power. Many power hitters tend to rely too much on force and have stiff swings, but his swing is extremely flexible. He transfers the power he generates in his lower body to the bat without any loss, and he hits the ball in a line rather than at a point. That's why he can achieve such great distance and a high batting average. What I'm paying attention to is what comes next for him. He perfectly discerns which balls he should hit and which ones he should let go. There's no doubt that his experience as a hitter has increased his ability to strike out at the plate. He can predict what the opposing pitcher is thinking and how he will attack while he's at the plate. That's a privilege that only he has and that no other hitter has. People only talk about the number of home runs he hits, but his true greatness lies in his high ops, slugging percentage, and slugging percentage. He chooses to hit and hits. He naturally performs the most valuable job as a hitter who hits extra base hits when given the chance. If he hadn't been gifted as a pitcher, he would have undoubtedly become a hitter who could aim for the 3-game title. In fact, it may be because he is a pitcher that he has become a hitter that no one in history has ever achieved. He is someone who has changed the very concept of the game of baseball. Let's return our focus to the mound. One of the greatest pitchers of all time, Randy Johnson, aka Rig Unit, is a fellow power pitcher who has a strange feeling about Ohtani's pitching. His pitching is pure violence. With just those two things, a fastball that exceeds 100 miles per hour, which I mean as a compliment, and a slider that slides sharply sideways in the 90 miles per hour range, and a sweeper, he can dominate any hitter in the major leagues. When I was still playing, I used the combination of a fastball and a slider as my weapon, but the quality of his pitches is on a whole other level. What stands out is his caution and the angle of the ball that is thrown from his long arms and legs. From the hitter's perspective, it must feel like the ball is being thrown from the third inning. With a high release point and intense vertical spin on the ball, his high fastballs feel faster than they appear, causing batters to drift under the ball. There was a scene where he struck out a batter looking with that 162.8 kilometers per hour fastball, but that was a work of art that perfectly blended power, angle, and control. His presence on the mound is a testament to his ability. He never glares at the batter or shows emotion. However, his calm demeanor creates this unavoidable pressure for batters. The moment he steps up to the plate, his aura makes the opponent think that they might not be able to hit that day. That is the proof of a true ace. He is the modern-day rebirth of Nolan Ryan and Sandy Koufax. No, even they never hit more than 50 home runs. Finally, Pedro Martinez, who is said to be the most complete pitcher on the market, is a reflection of Ohtani's pitching technique. His cleverness is second to none. Everyone is captivated by his 100 mph quick throw, But what interests me is the height of his pitching. He doesn't just throw with brute force. He can instantly restructure his delivery based on how the batter reacts. He uses a fastball as a showdown and then finishes them off with a sweeper. He uses a curveball to add a kick and then a splitter to throw them off time. He's like a chess grandmaster, always thinking 2 or 3 moves ahead as he constructs his pitching. You could see that clearly in today's pitching. Against the Diamondbacks lineup, which is full of batters, he effectively uses a sweeper with a cut inside. The batters are constantly wondering whether to throw it inside or outside, fast or curved. And when it counts, he doesn't hesitate to throw his best pitch. The 3 consecutive strikeouts in the 3rd inning and the 101 mph strikeout he threw in the 4th inning were all calculated and first-rate. Power and technique, physicality and intelligence. I don't know of any other pitcher who combines both of these at such a high level. If he can fully recover and stay in the rotation all year, there's no doubt he'll win multiple youngster awards. But I don't think he's aiming for just any individual title. All he can see in his eyes is the World Series championship ring. Legendary men who have graced Kyushu. Their words come from different perspectives, but they all converge on one common conclusion. That is, Shohei Ohtani is a being who is in the realm of the gods, far beyond the common sense of baseball they have lived by. And that legend is being spun in real time right before our eyes. The battle on the mound continues as he receives praise from the legends. In the bottom of the 4th inning, Ohtani allows his 2nd hit of the day to leadoff batter Mart. A clean hit to center field. With a runner on first, the game is halfway through, and the opposing batters are gradually starting to adapt to Ohtani's pitches. But from here, Ohtani steps up his game again. At bat, 3rd batter Carol Ohtani, who had struck him out looking in the 1st inning, unleashed all his might on this powerful hitter. He fouled off a foul and the count was 2-2, and then the fateful 7th pitch. As Ohtani swung his arm, a shocking number appeared on the scoreboard. Carroll's bat froze as he threw a pitch that was 101.2 miles per hour, 162.8 kilometers per hour, the fastest pitch of the day and close to his personal best, and landed low and perfectly below the first-class mark. A swinging strikeout. This was the pitch of an ace. He used his best pitch to save the day in a pinch. With this strikeout, Ohtani regained the momentum and struck out Kosuke, getting through the inning without allowing another run. He struck out 8 batters in 4 innings. His pitching has become more mature with each inning. In the bottom of the 5th inning, with 1 out, he allowed a hit to number 7 Thomas, putting a runner on base again. First base. The next batter was number 8 Kelly. The count was 1, the 2nd pitch from 0. Kelly's bat connected with Ohtani's sinker. The ball went just past the pitcher's mound to the left. At that moment, Ohtani transformed from a standalone player to an excellent infielder. He reacted quickly and caught the ball with a diving throw. Despite losing his balance, he immediately threw it to shortstop Lux, who came in to cover second base. Force out at second. Lux received the ball and rolled to first without a kick. Kelly, the hitter, was also out. A brilliant double play from the pitcher. It was a close game. It was a play that encapsulated not only Ohtani's ability as a pitcher, but also his outstanding baseball sense that covers the entire field and his incredible physical ability. Kazuhiro Takeda, who was commentating on the NHKBS broadcast of this play, also said, "He's good at defense too." He joked that he could also hit inside infield, and gave a big 3-0. Ohtani has also suggested that he may play defense for Gaia after coming in as a relief pitcher in the postseason. His versatility is far beyond our imagination. Ohtani, who created a pinch with this play, pitched through the 5th inning, allowing 3 runs and striking out 8 batters. He was 1 inning away from being the winning pitcher. After 5 innings of offense and defense, the score was 1-0. The tense battle of offense continued. And in the 6th inning, the top of the Dodgers' attack began with Ohtani, the leadoff hitter. He had gone 2 at-bats and no hits so far. However, he calmly assessed the opposing pitcher Fat's pitch, which was contributing to the team not with his bat but with his other hand, and picked the ball with a full count to get on base. This extended his record of consecutive games with a base hit to 27. Even without a flashy one, he gets the job done reliably. That is also his value. And then, a historic moment arrived. As the Dodgers players took their defensive positions, the number 17 was on the mound. The mound in the bottom of the 6th inning. This was the first time he had taken the mound in this inning since his surgery in September of last year. Before the game, manager Roberts had stated his goal of pitching 6 innings. Ohtani had brilliantly met those expectations with his own strength. However, the challenge of entering uncharted territory was by no means an easy road. As fatigue began to build, Ohtani's pitches began to show the same overwhelming sharpness as before. He struck out the first batter McCarthy with a fly ball to center, but then allowed a right field hit to Purd. With 1 out and a runner on first and 2 outs, the toughest opponent of the day, batting third, Carroll, was at bat. Ohtani mustered his last bit of strength to face Carroll. However, Carroll, who was persistent, expertly caught the 6th pitch, a splitter, and hit it to left field. With 2 outs, runners on first and second. For the first time in the game, the biggest pinch had come with runners on base and a chance to score. Hama was approaching 109. In the bullpen, the relief pitcher was starting to warm up his shoulder. Should he be replaced or continue? Manager Roberts made no move. He chose to believe in his ace on the mound until the very end. At bat, the 4th batter, Ohtani, had a clear chance of tying the game with a single. The excitement at Chase Field reached its peak. Ohtani left the mound once, exhaled deeply, fixed the spit on his cap, and focused his concentration. Then, nodding to the catcher's sign, he took on the final challenge. The first pitch, a fastball, missed. The second pitch was a foul. Count 1. The third pitch from 1. Ohtani threw a slider with all his might. Moreno's bat caught the ball. The ball flew high and was desperately delivered to center by the Dodgers' Guyan. However, the ball stretched. Center fielder Chris Taylor made a leisurely catch at the landing spot. 3 outs and a change. Shohei Ohtani overcame the biggest pinch of the day with his own strength. As Ohtani left the mound, the stands gave him a generous round of applause despite his low score. It was the utmost respect for a great player who overcame adversity and made a complete comeback. However, Ohtani looked regretful as he returned to the bench. A comeback from a dream, an answer in the division championship game. And the biggest 3 times from the legends. Today marked another new and shining page in Shohei Ohtani's legend, the 3000. However, this is by no means the end of the story. The real battle begins here. How will his two-way play shine on the biggest stage of the postseason? Baseball fans around the world will witness Shohei Ohtani's historic challenge. His legend has only just begun.